Another pain point for me would be not being from London and then not having the established connection, not having the network. That's a difficulty, especially when it comes to finding internships, perhaps from smaller firms or getting internships through connections. Not having the network really proves a difficulty for me as compared to if I were back in Singapore. It would be much easier. So that's a major difficulty because then most of the internships that are available to get is probably from big firms. And where the competition is much higher and the chances of getting in may not be as high.
That's a very good question. Network is very important and very key, and even as someone with hypothetically a zero background, many students who come to the UK don't have much of a background or network in London. I am originally from Derby in the UK. When I first came, I had zero network. The first thing is that building a networking plan. So without a plan, sadly, most are just not successful. So for me, the biggest thing is having a three-pronged approach. One, develop the funnel in the sense of making the ask small. So send an email out to an associate, X or Y or whatever job title and say, hi, I'm super interested in your industry. I'd love to ask you a few questions. Do you have 5 minutes? So the ask is really low. Still, some may reject, of course, but because the ask is so low, if you send 50 to 80 messages out, you may get somewhat 10% of a conversion, which is quite good. Secondly, we need to think about ideally building network with the maximum output where we can, in the sense that messaging someone who's also, say, Singaporean in London, messaging someone who's also from Imperial. These subconscious factors can generally help quite a lot. Networking for small firms is also very important because there are small boutique asset managers, private equity firms, where we can network to get an internship. So that's really important. The second point is quite a key one, networking for top banks, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan. That's really helpful because from that networking perspective, there's a lot of information we can understand about the company, detailed insights, inside insights into many things, the culture, and that's really helpful too. In the US, one thing I want to state is networking in the US and UK is different. In the US, you are virtually not going to get a job. In the US, networking is a core part of their structure. If you do not network, you're very unlikely to be successful. But in the UK, if you want to get into GS or JP, it is still possible without. Networking is helpful, but it's not determinative. Whereas in the US, it's determinative. That's the big distinction we make. But in short, I definitely can see us getting there. And in terms of the networking aspect, what specifically do we struggle with? Is it the actual informational chat? Is it the structure of the conversation? Is it, I guess to take a step back, what is the point of that network? What is the actual end deliverable that we want to achieve?
Perhaps the end deliverable could be getting insights into like what the company cultures and work life, and perhaps also hearing from them, their personal experiences of how they applied, and perhaps getting advice on how to apply and getting into these jobs as well.
Nice.
And these connections, from there, you can expand the connections even further and get to know more people and expand your network.
That's a really good approach, and I love how proactive you are. So Cedric, because sadly not many students are as driven or as ambitious as you. That's really good. We're in a good foundation. We're at Imperial, which is a top university globally. I believe it's top 5 in the world, according to some, and at a very prestigious course. In terms of career growth, what are we specifically looking to enter?
I'm looking to enter private equity, perhaps the secondaries division. I did some research into IB and private equity, and I found that the secondaries sector really appealed to me. Researching into PE funds and how to manage the portfolios of these funds for companies, PE secondaries would be the way to go for me.
Perfect. Secondaries is a great option. It's a massively growing asset class. We actually help a client secure an offer into secondaries. What for me is important is building a clear roadmap and a framework to get there. Because candidly, clients who have got into these organizations, it's never luck or arbitrary. We'll build out a clear plan and a clear thesis. The thesis is, does it make sense that you want to get into private equity? Secondaries or private equity or all across a private capital asset class, could be VC. So to give an example, Are we, for instance, part of the private equity society at Imperial or UCL or Bocconi? Are we, for instance, writing articles on value creation levers? Are we networking, for instance, with PE professionals? That is very important. For private equity in general, the key theme we'd want to have on our CV is a soft thesis of value creation. Because ultimately, PE firms, whether it's KKR, whether it's Apollo, whether it's Cinven, that's ultimately what they do. They buy a company, they make it better, and they sell it on as a profit. That's a very simplified explanation before I get comments in the comment section. But we're on a good track if we just do things that make sense. Now, do we have a broad roadmap of what sort of activities that we want to do? Because to get into PE, again, one, it's not arbitrary, but the profile has to make sense. Do we have an indicative idea of what things we're looking to do within the next, say, 0 to 12 months to build that profile to be successful in secondaries?
Perhaps the first thing we should do, or I should do, is probably get some extracurricular in private equities. So you said perhaps writing articles or joining the private equity society. That's the first step, and probably the most accessible step right now. And the step after that would be trying to get a PE internship. An internship is good for getting experience, exposing yourself to the industry, and perhaps from the internship it's possible to maybe secure a return offer. But for difficulty, the biggest hurdle will be getting the internship for most people.
You're in a good place because I've helped clients get multiple private equity internships. So the key thing is building that foundation. That's the key thing, because PE internships are candidly the hardest to get. There are just so few firms out there and therefore so few internship opportunities. So stage one is building that experience bank and that profile bank that demonstrates you as someone interested in PE. There are things we can do. There's one that's online forage programs. We could network and try to get a mentorship program by a current private equity professional. Thirdly, we could, in our own time, assist where we can with companies if they need any help with financial modeling. It's just about building that skill set where we can. If we can build LBO models, leverage buyout models, this thesis will help you to get to that next stage of an interest in PE. Because even if you get to PE, the first question they'll ask you in an interview is, why the buy side and why not IB? So in general, so as a general point, the mechanism to get into, say, if you wanted to hypothetically broaden to, say, an Apollo or a KKR or a buyout fund, is to go into bulge bracket investment banking ideally first. There are some exceptions, Lazard, Citi and a few others, but going to a top bulge bracket investment bank in ideally the Fin team or the M&A team or the TMT team, that provides a strong platform to enable success when interviewing for the top mega funds. Of course, private equity is a broad spectrum, but getting into a top IB is generally a good way to lateral across because there's carry, which can be frankly in the millions once we get to that level. But overall, private equity is a realistic thing. What is generally seen from individuals who are successful is that they have prior internships in top financial institutions prior, whether that would be asset management, wealth management, and so once we have that credibility stack, that would make the transition to PE a lot more easier.
Another pain point for me would be the video interview stage. I do struggle with getting past the video interview stage, trying to convey my enthusiasm and knowledge through the camera. It is very different from an in-person interview where there's actually someone physically there that you can talk to, as compared to just sitting behind a computer screen. I really do struggle with that, and I didn't get past a few stages. In a few jobs that I applied, especially the video interview. So
first of all, many students globally struggle with this. Wherever you are, from Bocconi or LSE, you're watching this, many students struggle. So I'll give you a very quick process that enables client success. This is the exact same framework that we use that has enabled success at top corporate law firms, top investment banks, the like. There's 3 things and 3 things alone to focus on. And one of them is not AI. AI is an externality, you cannot control AI. What you can control are the controllables, which are these 3 things. Your tonality, your content, and your structure. We'll start with the single biggest thing. This is the biggest thing. structure. We need to have a very clear thesis of what we're saying. If it's why Morgan Stanley, give 3 clear reasons. Reason A is quality of work, reason B is the professional development focus, and reason D, their strategy. If it's YIB, give 3 clear reasons. If they're asking a competency question, we can use a star 3 model. If it's asking about a deal we're interested in, give 3 reasons. For instance, 1 could be the acquirer motivations, 2 could be the revenue and cost synergy generated, and 3 could be any other. Structure is a foundation of success to get into elite careers, whether it's building a roadmap to be successful, whether it's interview technique. If this is not correct, there is no point focusing on these 2, in my professional opinion. I've had multiple clients pass higher views. First of all, nail down the structure. That's very important. Then once we have the clear structure in place, and we're going to discuss 1, 2, 3 points, A, B, C, we can then look at content. The key thing about content is substantiating what we're saying. If we're saying, I'm interested in Goldman Sachs due to its professional development opportunities, mention specific things. A big one could be the Goldman Sachs University, which has a lot of training, a lot of input to enable strong financial advisors and investment banking advisory. Mention partners, mention MDs. The content has to be very clearly structured, but it has to be detailed and researched. We have the PLX framework, which is point, evidence, analysis, link, and X. X signifies a unique evidence point in each sentence. That enables depth and research. But content is key, but only key when it's structured correctly. We can have the best content in the world, but if it's not deployed clearly and effectively, sadly, you're likely going to get rejected. The very best way I can explain this is clear thinking enables outcomes. Intelligence simply doesn't. Passing a recruitment process, which for Imperial or UCL or LSE, is about deploying content in a clear and an intelligent way. That's the biggest thing. Then lastly is tonality. Now, tonality is key because you can be structured amazingly, you can have the best content in the world, but if you sound monotone or deflated or not motivated, you're probably not going to do that well. Very simply because ultimately an interview is an expression of motivation. Are you motivated? Are you deploying motivation when we're speaking? So in terms of tonality, what we very simply can do is the easiest life hack, and it costs no money. Smile. Smile and have a big beaming smile. Why I focus on smiling so much is it raises your vocal tonality, you can see the micro expressions in your eyes, and you start using your hands, and you deliver a far better outcome. If the tonality is strong enough, it actually can supersede content, which is a 6 out of 10. We have seen individuals pass higher views with a very middling content. But tonality, content, and structure is key. I could speak about this topic for 20 hours. But yes, you may get challenging questions, but the key bedrock is this. Are we responding in a clear way? Are you giving 3 clear points? If they're asking about M&A, are we giving 3 clear reasons why we have M&A? That is key.